Now, in this second part of the video about evolution, you are going to differentiate Lamarckian evolution and Darwinian evolution through illustrations or models. Then you're going to understand Darwin's theory of evolution slightly because that's for the third video. Now, just to recall, evolution is the process by which species of organisms change over time through three types of processes or mechanisms. If you remember, we have the mutation, genetic drift, and natural selection. So the study of evolution has greatly expanded our understanding of the natural world and has provided us with insights into the origins and diversity of life. So a while ago, or in the previous video, we have discussed the scientists or the most important key figures of history of evolution are Lamarck and Darwin. So Lamarck proposed the idea of the inheritance of acquired traits, which suggested that organisms could pass on traits that they acquired during their lifetime to their offspring. So at that time, it was revolutionary, but it has since been largely replaced by the more comprehensive theory of evolution proposed by Charles Darwin. So it is the theory of evolution by natural selection. It is the most influential scientific theories of all time. It suggests that organisms with traits that are advantageous for survival are more likely to reproduce and pass on traits to their offsprings. Now, over time, this process leads to gradual accumulation of small genetic changes that can result in the formation of new species. So, in today's lesson, we will be comparing and contrasting Lamarckian and Darwinian evolution. So we will be exploring the differences between these two theories and we will examine the contributions that each has made to our understanding of mechanism of evolution. Okay, so to make it simpler, I made a table. So you have here the concepts. This is for the Lamarckian evolution and Darwinian evolution. So firstly, the central idea of Lamarckian evolution is the inheritance of acquired traits. It's the mechanism, basically. So the mechanism of Lamarckian evolution is passing on the acquired traits onto the offspring. On the other hand, for Darwinian evolution, it's natural selection. Only those with advantageous traits can survive and therefore pass those advantageous traits to their offspring. So basically, what Lamarck says is if a giraffe stretch its neck to reach the leaves high up in a tree, baby giraffes would have longer necks. On the other hand, Darwin believed that animals and plants change by having traits that help them survive and reproduce passed down to their babies through natural selection. Okay, so whoever is the stronger among these two dogs will survive and reproduce and pass that trait that allowed it to survive. Next, the driving force for Lamarckian evolution is that organisms change to adapt to environment. This means that if an organism wants to survive in its environment, it must change something about itself to better fit in. For example, if a giraffe wants to eat leaves very high up in a tree, it must stretch its neck to reach them. On the other hand, the driving force for Darwinian evolution is that the environment selects the trait that promote survival. This means that the environment in which organisms live will determine which traits are most advantageous for survival. For example, if we have a group of birds live in an environment with a lot of deep flowers, the birds with the longer beak will be more successful at obtaining nectar. Of course, it will have a better chance of survival and reproducing. So over time, this can lead to the population of birds having longer beaks overall. And those birds with short beaks will not be present. Okay? So this is related to the next one, the concept of species. So Lamarck's theory suggests that species transform into other species, while Darwin's theory acknowledges that species can go extinct. Just like what we said a while ago. Okay, so the giraffe transformed into something, and then the birds with the shorter beaks died or went extinct. Next are the time scale at which they operate, and the source of variation. So Lamarckian evolution is rapid, and the traits are acquired during the individual's or the organism's lifetime, while Darwinian evolution occurs over many generations and it's very slow. It's gradual. So this is due to random mutation. Now, in terms of inheritance, Lamarckian evolution suggests that acquired traits are passed on to offspring, while Darwinian evolution proposes that traits that promote survival are the one that are passed on. Take note that the fossil record does not support Lamarckian evolution, while it does support the Darwinian evolution. So basically, the smallest unit that can evolve in Lamarckian evolution is an individual or one organism, like this, the giraffe here. But in Darwinian evolution, it's the population, or just like the example a while ago, the group of birds with long beaks. So, what is the common idea between Lamarckian evolution and Darwinian evolution? So, they both actually propose that living organisms change over time in response to their environment. So, again, this giraffe, since the tree or their source of food is very high, they need to change. Same with this. They change because they were able to survive their environment with deep flowers, which is the source of their food. However, they differ in how they explain the mechanism of how these changes occur, which we discussed just a while ago. Now, with regards to extinction, if you remember, Lamarck doesn't believe it. He believes in transformation. And for Darwin, yes, species can go extinct. So the amazing ingredient in Lamarckian and Darwinian evolution is the lack of clear understanding of mechanism by which evolution occurs and the genetic basis of variation. So Lamarckian evolution proposes that acquired traits during an organism's lifetime can be passed on to its offspring, but it does not explain how this transfer of traits happen at the genetic level. On the other hand, Darwinian evolution proposes that random mutations are the source of variation. But again, it does not explain how these mutations are generated or how they lead to new traits. So in both cases, basically, the mechanisms that lead to variation and heritability are not fully understood. So that's the one concept missing in both theories. So I hope you were able to understand the difference between Lamarckian evolution and Darwinian evolution.